Thank you so much, President Nadia. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. My name is Lesego Motshwane, the Global Youth President for World Youth Leading Change. Before we start our program, may I please ask President Timpo to please open with a prayer.
Okay, please join me in prayer. Good afternoon, Heavenly Parent. Thank you so much for allowing us all to be here this afternoon. And we pray that this youth series today can really be informative for everyone. We thank you so much for all the speakers that are present here and all the members that are here and all of us, the presidents, the ambassadors. And we're deeply grateful, Heavenly Parent, that this day has finally come, wherein we could all meet together. We thank you that the program can truly be beneficial for all of us and that we can learn from one another and be able to practice and improve in everything that we are doing regarding the business and the youth leading change. We pray, asking you all this with sincerity and with love and humility. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, President Timpo.
Amen.
May I please ask Her Royal Highness, the Africa President for World Women Leading Change, Princess Debbie Dinora Puti, to please say a few words.
Yes, good afternoon, good evening. It's about 15 minutes. It's 4:15 in South Africa. And then I don't know what time is it in Indonesia, in the eastern side. And even those who are from the West, we are saying you are welcome to be part of us. Here in South Africa, it's a tourism month. It's a spring month. We are very excited. And we are also having our Excellency, His Excellency, Dr. Hilton Fisher. And it is only the two people that are being called Excellency. That is the president of the country and even the representative of those countries in the respective countries. And that is the reason that today we are saying, Dr. Hilton, thank you so much, and also making our journey so exciting when Dr. Ayla really welcomed us there in Indonesia, a beautiful country indeed. And we have learned so much in Indonesia, Jakarta, in Bali. That was so exciting. Dr. Excellency Fisher, you are really welcome. Why we are speaking about tourism? The reason why is because, as our keynote speaker today, you are the one who is going to talk about the importance of tourism in a respective country in boosting the economy. Tourism, it is so crucial in boosting the economy. As our representative, representing people there in Indonesia, you are the president of South Africa there. So tell us, how can you bring President Ayla? How can you bring Ambassador Nadia? How can you bring President Julistina to South Africa, as we'll be celebrating our World Women Leading Change Africa next year in May? That will be on the 12th, 13th, 15th. So we are saying, Excellency, kindly bring those Indonesian entourage in South Africa over to you. And we really want to thank you that you sign your signature that we should be part of Ayla there in Indonesia. Thank you so much.
Shall I start?
Yes, you're welcome. Oh, you are in oh, what you are, the shirt represent Indonesia. You beautiful. You're looking so stunning.
No.
Let's see.
No.
Thank you.
Royal Highness, Ms. Devi Raputi, thank you so much for the introduction. Very, very exciting. No. The shirt, remember I am South African. The shirt is a Mandela shirt. So it's a Mandela shirt, and I have to represent my country. And I must say that Nelson Mandela visited Indonesia before he became president, just shortly after he was released from prison. The first country that he visited was Cuba. And I think the fourth country he visited was Indonesia, where he was given a batik shirt. And I'm happy to say that after that, he developed his own batik style, all right, that we know today as the Mandela shirts. The roots are actually in Indonesia, and there is obviously an indelible link, you know, between Indonesia and South Africa, and we commend that link today. Now, my brief here today was to talk about tourism, but I would be amiss if I am not talking about the youth now, because I see the theme is youth, and yes, I will speak about tourism. But let me couch my talk about tourism in the whole in the concept of youth. What is youth? I mean, what role should the youth play? These are questions when I was preparing for this, and you know, for this talk. And certainly the youth are our leaders of the future. And so we have in South Africa, we honor our youth every year on the 16th of June, where we have a public holiday. But that public holiday is couched in, I almost want to say, in sadness. It was a day in which our youth rose up and stood tall against the apartheid regime. And they said, no more, no more. And today we can honor our youth. And with this Youth Day, and part of what we can do, you know, and maybe I'm jumping the gun now, but part of what we can do is that this honoring our youth can also be couched in tourism, and our youth can be guides, you know, guiding foreigners like the Indonesians who are coming to visit our country, through our history, in Soweto, the Hector Peterson Memorial, the Apartheid Museum in Johannesburg, the the Robben Island, where our former President Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 19 years, and so on. So if people are interested in cultural, historical tourism, then this is probably one of our important exports as far as tourism is concerned, and where we can incorporate the youth. Now, I also want to say that, just speaking about from an African perspective, that the Africa of today has a GDP of $1.6 trillion. The Africa of today has combined spending of almost $1 trillion. The African of today, and I'm talking about Africa, has 60% of the world's arable land. And the number of African cities that has more than 1 million people amounts to, or numbers 52. This is the Africa of today. This is where our young people are growing up in our African cities, and our young people are more and more in touch with digital economy, with the future, if you will. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the context in which our youth is growing, and this is the context in which I want to couch my talk about tourism and about the opportunities that we have, as we go forward in the immediate future. Our current foreign policy in South Africa deals with what is it that we are going to do post-COVID. Now, I suppose when we talk about post-COVID, there's no time frame. There's no time frame. Post-COVID basically talks about really we are going to rather live with COVID-19 rather than eradicate it. And we've seen the resurgence. And so part of what we are going to have to do when we talk about tourism during these difficult times is to say, well, the COVID passport or the vaccine passport is probably going to be a key feature during these times. And I think these are important things that when we start talking about tourism and the post-COVID, economy, this is part of what we have to do now. Tourism in South Africa, and I welcome, and I've seen at the embassy, we've seen more and more Indonesians coming to apply for visas. And one of the things that we at the embassy are working on is to reciprocate with Indonesia, is to get Indonesians to go to South Africa without having to apply for a visa. That is one of the things we are working on. We have been working with our Department of Home Affairs to reciprocate and get a tourism visa for Indonesians who are traveling to South Africa. We have not achieved that yet, but we are working on that. There are several types of tourism that we have seen, over the years, and I'm going to mention a few of those. But I just want to say that South Africa is a collage. I call that a collage of people, a mixed bag, if you will, of peoples, cultures, religions, natural features, culinary offerings, fauna and flora. South Africa is a country of endless possibilities, which offers international tourists a range of options. From our mountain ranges and forests, and those who are seeking thrills, if you want to go jump down the highest, the highest bungee jump on our garden route, it is there, all right? If you want to do shark diving, those ones who like to do shark diving in cages in the Western Cape and in KwaZulu-Natal, those are a few of our destinations that I mentioned. South Africa is a country known for its warmth and its people, its natural beauty, its wildlife, and of course its popular destinations, the national parks. Have you noticed that I have not mentioned in South Africa, have you noticed that I did not mention safaris and animals first? I mentioned its people first. People first before anything else. Our people are our vibrancy in South Africa. Then we have the natural beauty. We have the Transfrontier National Park, which incorporates the Kruger National Park. We have our coastlines, our beaches, from KwaZulu-Natal right through to the Western Cape. We have our major cities, Durban, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Port Elizabeth, Kimberley, to mention but a few. And those who are seeking tranquility, there's enough space, there's enough opportunity to do that. Tourism is a key sector, and it plays a significant role in South Africa's economy, making a difference to the lives of ordinary people. I read somewhere that one tourist visiting our country creates 7 job opportunities, and we can unpack that. All right, but for time, we'll leave it at that. But just think about it. It is the pilot that flies you there. It is the driver that meets you at the airport. It is the people in the hotel or at the safari lodge who benefit, from foreign visitors. And I think we provide a quality product. South Africa provides a quality product that is cost effective. Now, we have seen that Asians have additional, or what we could call, disposable income, and we have to get people to South Africa. I've been told here in Indonesia that many Indonesians have already traveled to Europe. They've seen what they wanted to in Europe. They've traveled to the Americas. They've traveled to the popular, holiday destinations. But Africa is still missing, from their travel itinerary, and we should get those, and we should get that right. That people travel to Africa, and in specific South Africa. Right? At any given time, 3/4 of all tourists in South Africa are South Africans. Now, this is significant. To any Indonesian who's listening, who's part of this, 3/4 at any time, 3/4 of tourists in South Africa are South Africans. South Africans love South Africa. And I think this is important. South Africans love to tour through South Africa. And if South Africans can do that, really, it does set a very good example for Indonesians who want to travel through South Africa. And yes, there are many opportunities. During last year, South Africa developed and implemented its first domestic tourism growth strategy together with the Via Mzansi domestic tourism marketing campaign. This is important. And tourism has taken a huge knock. Tourism has taken a huge knock during these COVID times. But I think we are ready to bounce back. I think we are ready to host you Indonesians. Please come to South Africa. There is a bit for everyone, right? South Africa is continuing to entrench its status as a major international tourist and business events destination. South Africa offers opportunities for international students, and I think this is very important. There are a number of Indonesian students in South Africa, and they study things as simple as English language. They study degrees in religion. They study degrees in the arts, in the sciences. And yes, this cooperation, I think, needs to be extended. We welcome, student exchanges. This is the form of tourism that I think, in my view, is a lifelong tourism, because if a student comes there, he would want to 10 years later bring his family back there to show them where he has studied or she has studied. And I think these are important parts of, because that to me is a lifelong relationship. What we've also seen, and as we've seen, and we congratulate Indonesia, Indonesia's achievements during both the Olympics and during the Paralympics now, and what we've seen as a very important form of tourism is what I would call the sports tourism. Right? There's, I believe, so many opportunities for our young people, for our sports achievers, to share in this area, sports tourism. I often drive past the sports fields here close to Senayan, and I see the enthusiasm with which Indonesians embrace sports. And I think, South Africans are also an outdoor type nation. We have a very short winter, and South Africans want to be outdoors, and I think sports tourism, health tourism, health tourism. I've seen reports of an expanding health tourism in South Africa, and this actually, I mean, especially with our medical, our advanced medical practitioners, we have a burgeoning health tourism industry, where people go and live on health farms. They get, health advice. They have operations to assist them, and I think these are very important areas that we can focus on. Of course, religious tourism between Indonesia and South Africa, very important. I contributed to a book that the Indonesian ambassador had commissioned, and what is important is that Sheikh Yusuf, in the 1600s, in the 17th century, was banished to Cape Town, and that is how Islam was introduced to the Western Cape, to South Africa. Sheikh Yusuf settled in what is today called Makassar, outside of Cape Town. His shrine is still there today. His kramat is there today, and Indonesians have visited there in their numbers, including the former Vice President of Indonesia, His Excellency Vice President Yusuf Kala. Now, religious tourism is very important. You add to that cultural tourism and what we call culinary tourism, our foods. We have this rich vibrancy in our foods, and I think Indonesians really they spice roots here in Indonesia, and there's a lot of influence of that in South Africa, and I think this is very important. Now, of course, we can add to that our safaris. I've spoken about our weather. I have spoken about our good and high quality hotels, our good and high quality what we call glamping. It's not camping, it's glamorous camping, but it is amazing. And I think these are the kinds of opportunities that President Raputi, if you want to introduce President Ayla to these kinds of things, I think she will absolutely come back to Indonesia and promote our country, I think, in leaps of bounds. Of course, for those Indonesians who love to drink their wines, to drink our wines, I mean, we have so many options. We have so many options as far as our wine routes are concerned, and these are opportunities that certainly we can share with our interlocutors here in Indonesia. Now, of course, the tourism sector, as I've said, is a major component of South Africa's economy. And it's probably one of the easiest components that we can use to kickstart our post-COVID growth. It is probably one of the easiest components to create jobs for our youth. It is probably one of the easiest components, as one of our former deputy presidents said. It is one of those areas where what one can refer to as the low-hanging fruit, where you can literally almost pick those immediately for the growth of the economy beyond COVID-19. Of course, we include our women, very important in developing our post-COVID economy, these really are important sectors. COVID-19 has indeed brought untold loss to the tourism sector. And I know our Department of Tourism and our Honorable Minister of Tourism is working with Europe at this point, is trying to get South Africa off that red list, because really, in terms of numbers, we should not be there. We should be open in terms of arrivals, and we are open in terms of arrivals. But it is those restrictions that are on us. Certainly, our tourism sector provides many opportunities for growth and recovery. We certainly have an advantage in our tourism offering, and I think these are really important times for our youth. Now, just to say that Indonesia, this year, between Indonesia and South Africa, we are celebrating 27 years of relations. Indonesia was a country that broke ties with the apartheid regime, and we thank Indonesia for that. We thank Indonesia for exercising the pressure on the apartheid regime and for not having relations. And the moment we became a democracy, Indonesia came to our support and came to really help us with the post-apartheid growth. Now, one of the areas, and I think Ibu President Ayla, when you visit South Africa, one of the areas that you can visit is also Mossel Bay. Mossel Bay has played an important role in Indonesia. Now, Mossel Bay, of course, has got what we call a twinning arrangement or a twinning agreement with Denpasar in Bali. And this is very important. You know, Mossel Bay is one of those parts of South Africa where we have huge petroleum reserves off the coast, or gas reserves off the coast, just discovered again about 2 years ago. And I think here Mossel Bay plays a very important part. It's a coastal city. We have, as I said, the twinning agreement with Denpasar. And of course, we would have wanted to do a little bit more in the last 2 years, but because of the COVID-19, it has put a damper on our travel and on cooperation. Now, of course, some of the common challenges that we have between Indonesia and South Africa, of course, is climate change. Very important. Climate change we see what's happening in Europe, we see what's happening in the Americas at the moment. These are some of the things that we are working on closely. It is food security. Again, in Indonesia and South Africa, very important. Indonesia has a huge population, the 4th most populous country in the world, and I think it provides many opportunities for us. We are working with the Indonesian authorities at this moment to promote our halal industry, very well developed halal industry in South Africa. I just had a meeting 2 weeks ago with the halal authority here, and we are working very closely with the halal industry to try and get more halal products from South Africa into Indonesia. So even halal tourism is growing in South Africa. It is huge, and Indonesians can travel full knowing that the halal industry is very well developed in South Africa. Of course, there's land ownership. We do not in South Africa exclude people from buying land or foreigners from buying land. Certainly, this is an opportunity for investment, and there are many other areas that we can invest in, not only, as I said, in the tourism, but in many other areas. And I think that it is just the people of both Indonesia and South Africa, based on the people, based on the love we have, based on the history we have. I think these are the important things that we need to we need to grow, and we need to pull together. And I think that our common futures are more together than what we are different. And I therefore want to thank you for this opportunity for me to address you on both the youth and on culture, and on tourism, sorry, in South Africa. And so thank you very much for this opportunity, and I wish you well in your deliberations. Well, for us, it's evening. So thank you so much, all the presidents and the chair of this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you so
for your
much.
time.
It's been very, very insightful. And as President Lesotho said, thank you so much for your time this evening. As you said on your side, as a former tourism student, also in SA, but I was an international student, I must say, I do attest to everything you've said, and our Indonesian family must come visit, definitely, and get a taste of all the above offers that South Africa has to cater to the people. So thank you so much. Our second speaker this afternoon is going to be Mr. Trevor Hambai, who's a financial analyst. He is also a senior managing partner at Development Finance Associates. Mr. Hambai, are you with us?
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm with you.
Sir.
Sorry, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes, we can hear you. I think President Dibuseng just has a network issue. President Dibuseng?
Can you hear me, President?
We can hear you now.
Oh, okay, thank you. Mr. Hambai, I'd like to reintroduce you again. Mr. Hambai is a financial analyst and also a senior managing partner at Development Finance Associates. Mr. Hambai, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Riding on all the protocols that have been announced in recognition of the ambassador, Dr. Hilton Fisher, and the president of the World Leading Change, as well as the regional president, Lusango. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to speak to you. So I will run down a very quick, my presentation today is really to be able to speak to around pitching for business for entrepreneurs. And I'll do a very quick 15-minute presentation. Is it possible for me to actually share my screen? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm hoping that it is come up now.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's just my introduction there. I'll have 9 quick slides to run you through that will speak firstly to the reality of business finance and what are the basic challenges of SMEs across the African country in terms of challenges and the precondition to them having to source financing. And then very quickly outline what the pitfalls entrepreneurs usually face when they're looking for funding. And then the presentation, which is basically what do they present when they're looking for funding as a value proposition, and the considerations in attracting funding, as well as what financing instruments they'll be needing to look at. And then lastly, I'll look at a very quick line on business etiquette. So to start this, basically, I want to highlight the key challenges that most entrepreneurs will have in terms of having to find funding. But outside the funding, there are also other factors that come into play that are the challenges. But the single largest one, which you see is number one, is that most businesses across the African continent, 61% of all businesses, their biggest challenge is finance. The second one that usually comes into play is access to market. That for businesses, 40% of them consider that access to market is a key challenge that they face in having to be able to grow their business. And number three is an issue around policy, that on the African continent, we seem to have a very big challenge around policies that actually support SMEs. It is universally accepted that any economy, especially emerging economies, will be driven by the growth of SMEs. 4 out of every 5 jobs will be created by an SME. And on the African continent, 90% of the private sector is all SMEs. So you see that it is very important that we have specific policies that support SMEs. And this is usually a challenge that is there. One of the key issues that you see on the African continent is that we also drive an agenda of foreign direct investors to come and invest in our economies. And the policies that we create are usually aligned to this FDI. We need to be able to include the local SMEs, domestic investment, so that we can drive domestic growth, ensure that the revenue that we're generating in the country is remaining in the country for sustainable growth. The last one is management. A lot of SMEs will have a challenge around management, around 8%, which is basically the issue that SMEs, you find them that there's usually 1 or 2 people that have started the business, and they do not have all the required skills to cover the different sectors of a business space, which is you start with your CEO, your general manager, your operations manager, your production manager, your marketing, your sales, your procurement. The entrepreneur is a jack of all trades, and this usually is a challenge. So those are the key challenges that you do find. But in the business space, then the next one that comes obviously is the fact that it is so hard to find financing. And finance is the single largest business challenge that any entrepreneur is going to have. So going into the space of what conditions you do require to actually try and find funding is that I usually have 4 preconditions that must be in place before you're looking to find funding. The first one is obviously that there must be a project promoter who is the entrepreneur, which is you. As a CEO of your business, you must be available to be able to find the funding. The second one is that you must have a concept that you are actually selling as a business, whether this is an executive summary, whether this is a concept note or it's a pitch deck, which is really a summary of your business. You must have this on your fingertips before you actually speak to an investor. The third one is a business plan, the complete business plan, which gives a complete strategy of your business as to what you want to achieve, must also be in place before you speak to an investor. And finally, there must be an investor, a funding institution who you must speak to. And those 4 must be in place as precondition for you to be able to get to discuss the issues around funding. The entrepreneurial pitfalls. Now, what are the big issues that happen when an entrepreneur is looking for funding? The first key issue is the confidence that the entrepreneur must have. I must be able to speak about my business from my fingertips very, very quickly, confidently, without worrying what questions I'm going to have because I understand my business. And that is important, which is the confidence. The second one is the value proposition, that when you do actually selling this, there must be some value proposition that you're giving the potential funder, the potential investor in terms of what you're selling. What is your business proposing and what value does it bring? The third one is that there's always risk in having to do business. You must have some form of risk mitigation towards your business. What have you put in place to be able to mitigate the risk in terms of what assets are you providing as collateral and what team is there to be able to deal with all this risk? that you might be facing in your business. Now, in your value proposition, I generally just make this as a standard format. It is not a hard and fast rule. You can always change it, but I give an indication of what it is. So in your value proposition is that when I'm going to do my presentation, you normally call, there's what they call as an elevator pitch. And the general idea is that if I was going to meet an investor, when we are going into an elevator, and the elevator is going to take 3 minutes to get to the whatever floor I'm going to. By the time I get to that floor, I would have finished my pitch, everything that I need to tell him in that 2 minutes. And normally I say the first 15% of your presentation, which is of your 3 minutes, is you make your introduction, both of yourself as well as your business. Then you must outline what the problem is and what your solution is. This defines your business strategy. And then you talk about the value proposition, what is potentially different of your business for all the other businesses. What edge will you have of the businesses that are already there? Then you must speak obviously of the market. What is the size of the market? And what proportion of that market are you going to target, which you're going to take? This is the biggest component that you must spend on, and it takes 40% of your pitch. The next 20% is talking about your marketing. How are you going to do your sales? What media are you going to get? How are you going to catch your clients? And then how is this going to scale in terms of size, in terms of your target market, and what revenue are you going to generate in the first year, second year, third year, and what proportions you're going to be growing by. And then at that time, you also would then be making your ask. What are you asking for? What are you looking for in terms of funding? And what are you offering? Is this debt finance? Is this equity? What proportion are you offering? And then your management team. What management team do you have to be able to achieve this? The last 5%, you pass your gratitude, thank you for the opportunity, and then I can be reached on these numbers if you need to reach me for us to be able to discuss this further. That is a very quick value proposition in terms of what your elevator pitch is going to be. So this applies the same to your executive summary, this applies to your pitch deck, this applies to your concept note, that you will have these things, but they will probably be on 1 page or 2 pages if this is written information. And in terms of attracting financiers, the first thing that you must appreciate regarding especially investors is that there are very few financiers that actually are looking out for anybody to finance. Most of them have got very specific target areas they're going. You need to be able to have the right network to be connected to these funders. No investor really comes out looking for you, because they use their networks to get the businesses. So you can consider all the different types of funders that are there. They have the financial institutions, which is a commercial bank, or the micro lending institutions. There's a capital market where you can issue out bonds as a company, corporate bond, which is on the stock exchange. You can look at investors, and either they're angel investors, equity investors, venture capitalists, or hedge funds. All these are investors. You must understand what their requirements are in terms of their focus area, what sector are they looking at, what is the ticket size that they want to finance. That is the minimum amount that they want to be able to consider. There are merchant banks. Merchant banks are not very good for startups because they charge an upfront fee. There are development partners who are it might be Africa Development Bank, it might be the World Bank, but they usually use fund managers that you can try and put applications through. There's crowdfunding. There are also public and government programs. These are also very useful, especially for enterprises that are starting up, because they're a lot easier to access. Each country has got different ones, but the number that they have represents the political will that any particular government has in promoting their small enterprises. The accelerator and business programs are very useful ones to be able to affiliate to. Family and friends is always where we all start from as an SME in terms of financing. And obviously then there are the special programs, which is grants and stimulus. The grants and stimulus packages, you have been hearing about them, especially now with COVID. And then the financing options, it's always good to know what kind of financing you are looking for. If you look on the right is the most used ones, where you're using personal savings, family, friends, and relatives. This is usually every SME will start from here. But in terms of accessing finance, the easiest ones is leasing, which is equipment that you ask somebody to an institution to finance you the equipment, and that equipment is a collateral, and then you start paying them on a monthly basis until you have fully paid for it. There's also supplier credit, where you go and borrow, ask for specific goods that when I sell these goods, I'll pay you. Then there's internal revenue, which is organic growth, that when your business is growing, you put back the money into the business for it to grow. But this is the slowest way to grow your business. You need to find a greater way to be able to accelerate that growth. Number 5 is shareholder contribution. If a number of entrepreneurs are starting a business, then they can put their resources together, and this also helps. And there's also invoice discounting. These are also easier one, where you have supplied goods and services to an organization. They've given you an invoice, which is a 30-day credit. You can take this to a bank and say, can I discount it for 80%? When I am paid, I will come and pay you. But then there are also other, on the left, the traditional financing options, which is your loan debt finance, whether it's short-term, medium-term, or long-term, or project finance. There's equity finance. There are obviously grants as well. I have mentioned invoice discounting, corporate bond, which you issue out on the stock exchange, lease finance, supplier credit, and client credit. These are also very, very useful, but both of them require you to have trust. You must have created a trust between the organizations for this to happen, supplier credit and client credit. So it's very, very important that you have got the right reputation in terms of an entrepreneur, and your word is good. There's equity and mortgage release if you've got an asset. There's SME collaboration and clustering, which is the same as crowdfunding. There's pre-order finance if you're doing especially international trade, and venture capital. All these are considerations that you can have in having to raise your capital as an SME. The last one is the business etiquette that I usually speak about. The first one is obviously that you must be very professional about your business. Firstly, the issue around maintaining your time. I always say there's no other time other than GMT. If we say come at 10:15, it's 10:15, there's no other time, and you must keep that as an entrepreneur, which is the same with any specific email that you've gotten, or somebody has requested for information or a delivery. Make sure that it happens when it's supposed to happen. Or at least if it hasn't happened, call them and tell them that you're not able to meet that time. That is very, very big in terms of credibility. The next one is honesty. Is absolutely necessary for you to be absolutely honest with your clients, with your financiers, that they must understand that what you say is true. There is no time for you to twist the words. Make sure, I would rather a financer does not finance you because you told them the truth, okay? Rather than the fact that they didn't finance you because they thought that if you were untruthful. Very, very important. And then obviously you must be motivated. Make sure that you understand your partners, but also you must also appreciate the fact that you are an equal partner. Don't come into this negotiation as if you're begging for anything. You bring value to this negotiation. And that's why you can negotiate on the strength of that them having given you financing that is relevant to your business. And then the transition, the power to take the hard decisions. There's a time that sometimes the financing is not working. Don't stay there for months trying to get this financing which is not working. Very important that you move on to try and find new ground for you to find funding. When you find a funder that is really truly believes in your business, they will not take months to finance your business. They will come on board very quickly. And the last one is obviously the takeaway from my presentation is that you must understand your business, your strengths and your strength and your weaknesses. This is the basis on which you're going to attract a financer, because you understand your business. You must also understand the market, the capital risks, the projections, what is expected in the next 3 years in terms of the economy, and then relate that economy to your business and how you're positioning yourself. You must also understand the financier. They are looking at specific sectors. They are looking at a specific return. They are also looking at a specific scalability because they want to exit at some point. You must meet the financing criteria, which is your financials, your collateral. If you haven't met the conditions, make sure you raise this thing, your shortfalls with the financier at an early stage, not at the later stage, so that they understand where you are. And maybe you can work out at mitigation issues that will require you to be done before you get to the end. But also exploit your networks. Very, very important. Your networks is your biggest opportunity for you to be able to get funding. You must work them. Your networks will also tell you historically who is funding, who is not funding, also what things you need to look out for when you go out to funding. Then I mentioned unique presentation. This is your value proposition. It must stand out. It must be innovative. You can't come with potato and beef stew and think that the funder will like this. Make sure that you come with something exciting, that your lasagna is a vegetable lasagna, it's healthy. It must be different. And then there's something to look at. Don't give up. It's a hard fight. It's a very difficult place to get funding for your business, but don't give up. You must believe in your dream before anybody else will believe in it. And then create the partnerships. Don't be scared to go and partner with your competitor. You need to. Somebody who is in the same space as you, go and partner with them. It will help you be able to fight the bigger picture around you. So you must create partnerships. And the last one is obviously maintain a healthy lifestyle. Your social, your financial, and your physical. Exercise, eat healthy. You need to be healthy for you to be able to run your business. That is a very quick presentation of seeking funding for your business. Thank you very much. I'll take any questions if there are any.
Can everyone hear me? I'm not sure if my...
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. I think questions will be left to the end, Mr. Hambai. So if you can just stay with us, and yes, please, if you could just stay with us, and the questions will come towards the end of the program.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for that knowledgeable presentation, because I truly believe we all need financial literacy, and I think as I've grown up to realize how scarce and how diverse the information is, so you never actually know what to do at a certain point in time, especially for us young people looking to start our own businesses or on the verge of doing so. So thank you so much, sir, for that insightful presentation and for your time again. I'd like to move on to our third speaker for today, Ms. Matapelo Nkwani. I hope I'm saying it right. Ms. Matapelo is the founder of African Imbali, and today she will be giving us hair and beauty tips. Ms. Mkwane, please take over. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matapelo Mkawani, as she mentioned, the founder of African Imbali. Today here I'm joined with my model, the face of African Imbali, and I'll be demonstrating with her, with you guys, to show you on, given the topic that I should give on, Ms. Lesego Motwane gave me a topic that I need to give tips on a natural look, which is, she said, I quote, basic makeup tips. But in our language as makeup artists, we call it soft glam. That's a natural look most of the time. Also, allow me to say that a natural look doesn't make you look like natural. And actually, we do have a bit of makeup. The mandate here is to make sure, Uti, you do not look like you have makeup, but you do have makeup. Because what we do here, we make sure that we enhance a bit on your skin. Without further talking too much, let me show you what I'm gonna do. The first tip that I'm going to give you guys is know the skin type. Know your skin type, because in the skin types, we have dry skin, we have oily skin, and combination skin. So with that being said, when you know what skin type you are, you'll be able to know which products to use. On this regard, my model here has an oily skin. So I'm gonna be using matte products. So our foundation is gonna be matte. Even with our primer, it's gonna be oily skin friendly. So I'll be starting without further saying a lot of things. So I'm gonna be prepping her skin with a good primer that is very friendly to her skin. And I'm gonna hydrate her skin with a Revolution spray. Then I'm gonna get in with a foundation after that. This is what you do. Make sure you let it dry. Excuse me. You make sure you let it dry so it can sink in her face. Remember, we're not gonna put so much products. Since we go, sorry, I got a call. I'm gonna go in with the primer. Most of the time, people usually ask me, what is calling me? Sorry, someone is calling me on WhatsApp. I hope that won't happen again. Most people ask
President Dibuseng, I think you can call the next speaker. Please unmute.
Apologies. Okay, thank you, President Lesotho. Hopefully she'll come back. I'd like to move on to our fourth speaker, Mr. Matthews Kambuze. Mr. Matthews is a certified communicator and public speaking coach. He is a member of the Toastmasters International, and today Mr. Kambuze will be talking to us on public speaking, coaching, posture, how to relax when presenting, etc. Mr. Kambuze, you know better than I do, so please, sir, take over.
All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're finding yourself. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
But we can't see you properly.
Okay, hold on. How about now? Is it better?
Yes, it's better now. Thank you.
All right, magnificent. So let's start over from the beginning again. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're finding yourself. My name is Matthews Kambude, and I serve and I'm passionate about public speaking and the whole art of communication. Well, in my presentation, I have a short amount of time, but with the time given, I'm going to share with you the content that I know that's going to help you to hone and master your craft when it comes to public speaking. Last year, I read a book by Dale Carnegie written How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's right here. So this is, if I'm not, it looks as if it's the first edition because it's pretty old. So in this book, Mr. Dale Carnegie stipulated that when you meet a person for the first time, the conversation with this person might be.
May I please disturb you? I think there's a sound problem.
Yes.
I don't know if it's the network or it's your microphone. We can't hear you properly. There's a bit of an echo.
Give me a second. All right. Is it much better now?
I think you can continue. We'll let you know if we have a problem hearing.
All right. I apologize for the inconveniences. Right. So as I was saying, I read a book by Dale Carnegie written, the title of the book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Mr. Dale stipulated that when you meet someone for the first time, when you're having a conversation with someone for the first time, when you're in front of people and talking to people, what you're saying must be in the interest of that person. So it's never about you, it's about the next person. Have you ever listened to a sermon or have you listened to a motivational video where someone is speaking and you feel like, oh my goodness, they are speaking right to me. They are speaking directly to me. This message is meant for me. Well, the truth is, is talking to accommodate or rather touching on your needs, your wants, and your fears. So when you're given the responsibility to stand in front of people, when you're given the responsibility to give whatever speech you have to give, understand that it's never about you. What you are saying must never be about you. The prime focus of whatever it is you're supposed to be saying must be your audience. Your audience must be the prime focus of your presentation. Well, that is number one. So we focus on audience analysis. So audience analysis in the public speaking world is whereby you do research on who you are talking to. Well, I was informed that I'll be talking to a group of young people. So I know for a fact that if I end up saying using expressions like, but the herd, hey, I'm John, some of you might be able to relate to what I'm talking about. On the other hand, if I end up using expressions like, I'm a certified lover boy, daughter, most of you will be able to relate to what I'm referring to, right? Because it's that is the type of phrases or what's currently trending, right? So you need to analyze, you need to do research on who you're talking to. The same applies when you're coming up with an idea, right? You need to see who's my target market. What are their fears? What are their wants? What are their needs? So if you are talking to a group of students, so we know for a fact that most of their fears, or most of the students, what they'll be fearing is failing. Now what we're going to be saying, touch on fear, the fear of failure, how to overcome fear, how to overcome the fear of failure, or how to be comfortable with the fear of failure, right? And this is how you end up connecting with your audience. In the psychology world, there's a principle known as recency and latency. What that basically means is that as a human being, you can only remember, in most cases, you can only remember what you learned, what you had in the beginning, and what you had at the end, or what you hear at the end. Basically, you can remember the conclusion, the beginning, and Now, what about the in-betweens? What if 10 of you were selected to deliver a pitch or to do a presentation or to pitch an idea to a potential investor? And there's 10 of you. And let's say for instance, you are number 4, number 5-ish, somewhere there. How will you give a good impression to the potential investor? This is where the art of storytelling comes in. So whenever you're giving a presentation, understand that your audience, in most cases, they will always remember what you said in the beginning and notice it in the end. However, if you incorporate the art of storytelling, and then you'll be considered as a memorable speaker. I bet most of you would know the reason why most of you are able to remember a motivational video or a sermon you watched, and you end up using the phrases in that sermon, the phrases in that video, is because you were able to relate to what the person is saying. So storytelling has a beautiful magnetic effect to the people that are listening to you. What connects me to you is the fact that we both have something to say. We both have stories to share. So when you're standing in front of people, incorporate storytelling, because then you want to be considered as a memorable speaker. Now, this is where the art of using your emotions will also come in as well. So how can you hook with a potential investor? Use drive their emotion, grab their emotions, play with their emotions. So if you are given the responsibility to be in front of people, talking in front of students or whoever your audience may be, play with their emotions. So in the beginning, I said that when you are watching the sermon or when a speaker is talking to you and you feel like, oh my goodness, what they're saying is meant for me, it's because they are tempering with your emotions. So when you use emotions, automatically your vocal variety, so this has to do with how you use your voice, and your body gesture needs to complement your emotion. For example, if you are saying, oh my goodness, I feel really sad when I lost my dog, when my dog Rex died, and I felt really devastated. You see how my tone and my body gesture is complementing my emotion. And there's this now. Oh my goodness, I was so excited, I was so thrilled when my dog Rex came running towards me. I picked him up and he licked my face. Ew. So as you can see, 2 different emotions, yet 2 different body gestures and vocal variety. So when you learn how to use your emotions, you will learn how to connect with people. That is always when we are watching a sad movie, we are able to relate with them. I don't know, we might be having friends who end up crying because the actor or the actress died. And then we're also inundated with joyful feelings when we see good things happening. So with that said, when you are doing a presentation, when you're standing in front of people, 3 things we need to remember. First and foremost, it's never about you. Your conversation should be in the interest of who you are talking to.
Matthew, I'm sorry, Matthew, your
Yes?
speaker is making an echo. You're speaking such important things, but your speaker, it's not really excellent. Your speaker, try to be nearer to your speaker.
Okay.
Be nearer
Give me
to
a
your
second.
speaker.
Right. Can you hear me much better now?
This is a lot better. It really sounds like professional public speaking now. It's really better. Thank you.
Oh, well, I apologize again. I really just apologize for the inconveniences.
I'm sorry. You see, your peers could not even correct. They tried, but they just went through. But I felt that as a mother, I must be actually very embracing. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Well, as I was saying, when standing in front of people, let's remember three things. First and foremost, understand that it's never about you. The conversation should be in the interest of the person you're talking to. Number two, the prime focus of your speech should be your audience. So the same applies when you are pitching an idea. Understand that you need to understand your target market. What are their fears? What are their wants? What are their needs? It's the only way that you can connect with them. Last but not least, for you to be remembered by people, to give a good impression after speaking, use storytelling. So let me end up with a quick story before I give it to the moderator. I heard of a gentleman who was delegated to go represent his country at one of the conferences in America. So he went and he spent the whole day at this conference, and he was really exhausted. He was really drained. So at the end of the day, he decided that, you know what, let me go grab a drink at this local clubs. And then he went forth and he was in the club and he was just chilling, relaxing. And he was having a glass of whiskey, vodka to be exact. And then from a distance, there was a young lady looking at him. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, red lipstick on her lips, and a red dress. She looked at him, he looked back, he smiled, she smiled, and the young lady started walking towards him. And the young lady said, pardon me, you don't look like you are from this place. Where are you from? And the gentleman responded saying, well, no, I'm actually from Africa. I'm just representing my country for one of these local workshops. Oh, okay. And then the lady said, oh, that's really interesting. Would you like me to buy you a drink? Well, this gentleman, being gallant as he is, he said, yes, you may. And that was the last thing he remembered. The following day, he woke up in a bathtub full of ice cubes. And he started gaining his conscience, and he looked on his left-hand side and he saw a small table. On that table, there was a glass. Inside the glass was a small cell phone. And there was a note that says, call 911. He reached out and he dialed the number, and he was panicking. He was worried. And then the lady on the other line says, well, sir, please calm down. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I would like what you feel or what you see. And the lady said, can you please reach out behind your back and tell me if you can feel a tube? And he was trying to reach out, and he was in pain, and he reached out and he felt the tube, and then he said, yes, I can feel a tube behind my back. And the lady said, sir, there is bad news. I have good news for you and bad news for you. The bad news is there's a high chance that one of your kidneys have been harvested. There are people going on around busy harvesting people's kidneys to be sold on the black market. The good news is you are going to be alive. The job behind you is sustaining you, it's preserving you. So please hold on the line. We are going to trace this call, and we are coming to come get you. Well, that story is not true. It's just something I like playing around with. But we're not going to ignore the fact that these things do happen, right? So there are different ways to tell such a story. But as you noticed, my body language, my vocal variety, and how I was talking was all complementing what I was saying. Well, I hope that as from today onwards, you'll be forgetting this story, and I'm going to continue telling people this story. Well, thank you very much. My name is Matthew Skampuda. It has been a power-pleasing pleasure being your public speaking coach. May the moderator, the floor is yours.
Can you unmute, President? Unmute, moderator.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Kambuze. It would have been really great if we could all hear you clearly, but I hope everyone took note of the 3 important things being public speaking. It looks like Matapelo is back with us. Matapelo, is everything okay?
Yes, everything is okay.
Okay. Sorry, let me just thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you for your time. Matapelo, please carry on. Take over, please.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, forgive me for the inconvenience. That was an emergency call. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that before you continue, because of time, I don't know if you can just, I don't know how you do it, because we have exactly 10 minutes and then we have to start the question and answer session.
Okay, should I demonstrate or should I just explain?
You can just explain.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. The first tip I'm gonna give, like I said before, that you need to make sure that you know your skin type, so you know which product that are you going to use. As well, take note of what you call preparation of your skin. You need to moisture your skin with a high SPF of sunscreen and the primer. The primer should be the best product ever, because at the end of the day, that is the gate to your makeup and your skin. So we need to make sure that your skin is prepped well. That's number 1. Number 2, you need to make sure that you do not go harsh on every product that you use, because we remember that the attention is not going to be on your makeup, but it's going to be on your whole look. Since this is going to be a professional look, it's a look when you go into a business meeting, etc. The other tip that I'll give to people is on your eyebrows. Make sure that you use a light brown eyebrow pencil, so that it doesn't show much, it won't stand out. Since it's a natural look, make sure you do not also, you do not blend much on the eyebrows. Yes, that's what you do. Go light-handed with your eyebrows so that it doesn't show that you have makeup on. That's the mandate of this look. Another thing, we're gonna go on tip number 3, which is on the eyeshadow. Make sure, on this one, I think I should demonstrate which colors to use when we're dealing with this look. Make sure you go with your nude eyeshadow palette. Make sure you choose the color that is close to your skin tone, so it won't show. For example, I did myself a natural makeup. I put eyeshadow, but you won't see, because this is a go on an everyday look. This is an everyday look kind of a makeup. The eyeshadow mustn't pop, because we're not going to be concentrating on your face. Another thing that you need to do on the eyeliner, do not make a wing, because we're not going to be dramatic. As I said, the look is natural, but yet well-groomed. We're also going to talk on the highlighting and the contouring. Another person would ask, what is contouring? Contouring is when you're balancing your skin. You give a shade to the, like for instance, to the corners of your face. For instance, yes, to your cheekbones. For instance, when you, like I'm facing in the front view right now, you can see that my cheekbones, you can't see the side. So with contouring, that's what we do. We create the shade, which is going to give a balance to your natural face. Remember, like I said, we do not go harsh on the face. With the highlight, I would prefer that we use a concealer that is 2 shades lighter than your skin tone or skin color. And another thing that we do, make sure that with contouring, do not use a dark concealer that is very dark. Always go for the lighter, darkish one, because you do not want to look black on the side. That's what most people do, but either way, we are not there. That's not the discussion today. Like I was saying, after the contouring, what you need to do is put your setting spray before the bronzer. You set your face. After that, what a setting spray does, it makes the products on your face to come together and look moist, so it doesn't show the difference, which one is which one. So you can't differentiate if there's a concealer, there's a foundation, and all of that. So that is what a setting spray is for. Another thing is, do not go hard on your face. I think that's about it. You make sure that you light-handed with every product that you put. And then the lip gloss.
Matapela, are you there? Or is it my network? President Dibuseng, I think you can open up for questions in the meantime. Oh, she's back. Okay, you can continue, Matapela.
Yeah, I think that was the last step. You apply your setting spray. After the setting spray, that's when you come up with a bronzer. Also, another thing, let the setting spray sit. Let it sit for a few minutes, and then you apply your bronzer, and that's it. You're good to go. With your lips, don't go for darker colors or brighter colors, like I was saying. So always go for lip gloss. It's either lip gloss or a nude lipstick that is also closer to your skin. Because most of the time with light skinned people, they would use pink. And when you're dark, you can just use lip gloss or any other color that is closer to your skin. I think that's a wrap. I am so sorry for the disturbance on my presentation. I hope you guys learned. I hope you guys heard. And that's just about it. Thank you for me. And I'd like to thank Ms. Lisejo for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. That's it from me.
Thank you, Matapelo, for the tips. As President Lesotho has said, I'd like to open up for questions. If anyone has questions for our speakers, please send, I think, yeah. How long do we have, President Lesotho, for questions, just to confirm?
We can just open up for 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. If anyone has a question, please go ahead.
It's not a question, it's a comment. Thank you so much for everyone who spoke. And most importantly, our Excellency, I said it is only the president of the country and his representative in the different countries. Excellency, we actually request you that you should go and visit Eila. And we want that in May the 12, 13, 15, 2022, we want to see entourage of Indonesians coming here to South Africa, as we will be celebrating and having also an investment, women investment conference here in the soil of South Africa. And we are looking at either here in Gauteng, where there are more kind of tourist attractions, and then they can go to Mossel's Bay after, and then they can go to the Big Five. President Ayla says that she wants to buy a white lion And I don't think that it is possible. But just go and speak to her. And what we don't do as South Africans, we don't teach people that Africa is Africa with different countries. Yes, we are having 54 countries, but South Africa is in the south of Africa. Those are the things that we should really teach our counterpart about Africa. Because if I go to Indonesia, I don't say that I'm going to Asia. I say I'm going to Indonesia. But thank you so much. It was so exciting whilst we were there in Indonesia. And we went even to Bali, and understand that is a health kind of, health sector or health tourist destination. And it was actually very, very exciting. And we really want to thank you for putting your last signature for us to come there during the high COVID, during very, very high COVID rate. And we actually want to say thank you. We have not actually thank you personally. But what I've seen, President Ela really loved the Amarula. The Amarula, those who are in the, in the wine or whatever, they can actually take the Amarula to Indonesia. But thank you so much, Excellency. We value you, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And everyone, public speaking, I still want the gentleman to come back and teach us about public speaking, because some of us, we did psychology. They say that a person can only hear 5 things: A, B, C, D, E. And I always ask myself, politicians, they love to talk. They really love to talk, and they make us confused. And according to psychologists, they say you can A, B, C, D, no, E, it's worse. So the young men must come and teach politicians on how to do public speaking, because sometimes they've got, piles and piles of papers, and they think that we hear. But thank you so much, Our Excellency, for being selfless, for humbling yourself to come and address the youth. It must be also part of your performance, because public diplomacy, it is a challenge, especially to the youth. We really want to thank you.
Pleasure.
We have our tourism and hospitality sector coordinator, Ms. Laura. She's also the she's also the president for World Youth Leading Change in Mozambique. Hello, Laura, are you there?
Hey, how are you? I'm here.
How are you, Laura?
Yes, hello everyone. So sad that I miss Ambassador, I think Dr. Hilton Fisher. They said you are talking about the hospitality sector. You are the only person that I missed. I've heard a lot about the business etiquette. I've heard a lot about makeup. I think now I'm so ready, like to pitch in my formal look, with the beautiful look. I'm so ready to speak in public, but I missed my sector. That's so sad, but hopefully I can learn a lot from you. Actually, hospitality and travel and tourism, it's all in my heart. I'm trying to be the first youngest general manager in the hotels, because I actually went to the international hotel school. So I've been big in that. But me, myself, I'm trying to gain experience globally and create my own experience so that I can, be recognized in the industry. So sad that I missed you, but everyone who spoke, I definitely picked up and I learned a lot, and I really appreciate. Hopefully I'll hear from you, Dr. Helton, and learn a lot from you as well.
Thank you very much, Laura. We're going to open up for questions for the last time.
Can I just say one or two things?
Yes, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. Well, Miss Laura is so excitable. I like the energy. I think it rubs off. And maybe she's in the right industry. Just to say that, hospitality has become so internationalized these days.
Yeah.
I think perseverance in the sector. I've spoken to many people here in Indonesia. I mean, they are French people. They are, and here in Indonesia, Bali. There's just a confluence of people from all over the world. South Africans, of course, Indonesians, Australians abound. And so of course I would like to see more Africans coming, and it is this idea of for me is that hospitality has become so internationalized that you really don't have to worry. As far as I'm concerned, this time you will grow into your industry, and I'm sure that you will be making an impact in the hottest spots in the world. So persevere, hang in there, and I think you definitely will be successful.
Thank you so much. It's so good to hear from you, and I really appreciate.
Yeah.
I believe that it is
Absolutely.
perseverance. It is, I think, also exploring for you to be in the sector, and I think it's enjoying the scenery. I feel like it's a personal industry. You need to feel whatever that you're doing. You need to be there in spirit. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Thank you so
and
much.
to the young man who was speaking, Mr. Matthews, who was speaking to us about public speaking. Again, I mean, it is unfortunate that the sound was a bit scrambled, but I think that that certainly, public speaking, confidence, the way to project oneself, and even the speaker maybe I should ask Miss Matapelo, how do I look as an ambassador? How is she going to make me look more beautiful? I don't know. I'm trying, to look beautiful, but I'm failing. I'm failing because people are running away from me. So maybe she must help me. Be my personal whatever you do. I don't know how to do these things. Will makeup work for me?
Yeah, but you don't need more products. You just need a powder to mate it up. You know what I mean?
I'll need more products.
Yeah. You just need a few powder to maintain the oil. That's it.
Okay.
And just shape your eyebrows. I see you have bougie eyebrows. I can see that.
Yeah, no, but congratulations as well, and hang in there. I'm sure you're going to do makeup for Hollywood actors soon. I can tell you that. Okay.
Definitely.
And Miss Ayla, I don't know if you are on. I'm sure you're not going to buy a white lion. We don't sell our white lions. We value our white lions in South Africa.
Unfortunately, she's not in today. She couldn't join us to other commitments. Thank you so much, sir. President Namkole, you can ask your question.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. I think I'd just like to congratulate everybody who's on. It's been very interesting. It's a learning curve, and more importantly, we just need to put ourselves there. We need to be proud of our Africa. We need to understand it. We need to live it. And like His Excellency said, you need to feel it. The excitement needs to be in your voice. The excitement needs to be heard from the way you colorate yourselves and the way you choreograph your words. And for the public speaking, he had very good points. Let's all remember that we are addressing not just our colleagues, not just our peers, but the entire world. These meetings are live on YouTube, they're recorded, and it's a permanent and live communication that's going to be there. But I'd just like to congratulate Your Excellency Lesego. You're doing a wonderful job, and all the speakers have really done everything that they could, and there's room for growth. And we should take cognizance who we're dealing with. We're sitting here with excellencies in the world, women leading change, excellencies in the real world, the diplomatic world. These are the people, you guys are the leaders for tomorrow. And I just want to say, keep going on, keep on keeping on, and let's keep this beautiful international family growing for a better tomorrow. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Your Excellency.
Wow, thank you so much, President Mankole. I think we have come to the end of our program. May I please ask President Tando, the Youth President for Africa, to please close with a prayer, and then we will play the World Women Leading Change International song. President Tando. President Salma, may you please pray for us?
Sure. Let us bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you very much for this engagement today. We thank you, Lord, for making it possible for everyone who has participated in this meeting. Thank you, Holy Spirit, that you are in our midst. Thank you for all the insightful messages and information that was shared here. We ask, oh Lord, that this engagement only grows even larger from what it already is. Father, we ask that you bless each and every one of us wherever we may be on this planet. And we ask, Lord, that you continue to give us the wisdom and continue to expand our territory in every aspect of our lives. Thank you for the team, the management, our leaders who are supporting the work that we are doing. We ask, oh Lord, that you continue to anoint them with your unction and with your wisdom. In Jesus' name, we pray and we say amen.
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 Thank you.
Amen.
Do we have a program tomorrow before we play the song?
Yes, we've got a program tomorrow. We are still on tourism. We'll be having people who are speaking about the importance of arts and culture in tourism, you know, and then we'll be having also a young lady from Gambia who is also in the hospitality, which Laura, I think she must feature. And we'll be also having a young girl who is a student in Turkey, who is also going to talk to us. We want tourists in South Africa. We want tourists and visitors in South Africa and Africa, because destination is here in OR Tambo, as OR Tambo has crisscrossed the world. And Excellency, your batika shirt that you learned from Nelson Mandela, it looks very good. I brought some for my husband in Indonesia. And thank you so much. And even the makeup, President Lesotho asked the makeup lady to give me her numbers so that I must also try to look presentable when we speak. And even the finance guy who was teaching us about how to, apply and to get some assistance, we really need him so that we can be able to take our business to another height. Thank you so much. Yes, program tomorrow at 3. Thank you. And
Yes, Mama Debbie.
Tell them that a Minister of Tourism is our patron. She is our patron. So I just missed her call. I thank you.
Thank you.
We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change for our people, for our countries, for everyone in the world. Love, peace, needed in this world. Endurance, needed in this world. Forgiveness, needed in this world. Unity, needed in this world. Yes, African woman leading change. Antarctican woman leading change. Yes, Asia woman leading change. Yes, Australia woman leading change. Yes, Europe woman leading change. Yes, North America. Yes, South America, woman leading change. Kalirato fella, woman leading change. Kalitabo fella, woman leading change. Gotando pella, woman leading change. Yes, Indonesia. Yes, Ayla. Yes, Ayla. Woman leading change. Yes, Indonesia. We thank you, world woman leading change.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
3 p.m. time.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes.
Mm.